Pero pag pangit, babalik ko
Pag-start
ha.
baka...
Kasi minsan ang
Sige lang po, no worries.
ay saan ko nakukunin yung aking ano.
Okay, live na po tayo.
All right, good evening everyone and welcome to Alpha TV. So we're about to start in just few minutes. Kindly share this live to your friends and colleague. And kindly wait for just a couple of minutes before we start. So yep, just in 5 minutes, we are about to start our new episode of Alpha TV. Good evening once again, everyone. We just want to inform you that we are now live streaming on YouTube via Zoom. Kindly share this live with your friends and colleagues, and let's all be significantly better through accessible and lifelong learning together. All right. Good evening, Alpha Nation, our incredible lifelong learners. Glad to have each and every one of you here in our special episode of Alpha TV tonight. And my name is Ruel. I am Alpha's head of creatives, and I will be your host for tonight's episode. So let's all. Once again, this is Alpha TV. Let's all be significantly better through accessible and lifelong learning together. And tonight's episode is made possible with the help of our supportive and very generous partners. So we have IXL CIE Review Center. Get an additional 500 off if you are a graduate of any Alpha Premium course. Startup Podcast PH. And our Tuos, the first Filipino cloud-based analytics platform. Get your 90-day free or 90-day trial offer. Visit alphatuos.com for more updates. All right. And tonight I will be joining with our very special guest. And let me just pull out this one. Hold on. Once again, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Alpha TV. So tonight, we will be joining with our special guest. She is a BS Industrial Engineer from the Lyceum of the Philippines, a Master of Science in Industrial Engineer from Adamson University, a Doctor of Philosophy in Technology Management at TUP Manila Technology Management, and has been working for 10 years in Japanese manufacturing industry, 14 years in academe, teaching BSIE and MSIE, 9 years as department head, a former research director, former dean of the engineering, and a professional industrial engineer herself, which also a trainer in the manufacturing industry. Tonight, please everyone, help me welcome our very special guest for tonight, Dr. Janet Annett. Good evening, Dr. Janet.
Hello, good evening.
Good
Thank you,
evening po.
Sir Rule. Tama ba ako?
Roel.
Sorry. Sir Roel, thank you so much. No? So, good evening, everyone. Good evening to all the viewers, to all the listeners of Alpha TV of AskLex PH Academy. So before I start, let me thank first Sir Felix Benoya for inviting me, particular with Jai and Engineer Melanie for inviting me. No? So this is my second time. Medyo natagalan nga lang no, na nakabalik ulit ako. Okay, so let's start.
All right, ma'am. Let me just pull out your PowerPoint presentation. Hold on.
So the topic for this session is about unlocking growth and excellence, your guide to ISO 9001. Yeah, that's it. 9001 2015. Okay, so next slide. Let me start with the objectives. The first one is for you to understand the quality of management or the quality management. And then the second one is to understand the purpose of ISO 9001 series of 2015 certification. The third one is understand the key requirements of the standard. Then the fourth one is to explain how this ISO 9001 series of 2015 can improve the organizational performance. And the last one is to understand what are the benefits of ISO 9001 series of 2015. Next slide, please. Okay, so for the contents of this topic or this session, the first one is for me to introduce the quality management system, the details of ISO 9001 series of 2015 standards, the key benefits of ISO 9001 series of 2015 certifications, the key requirements of ISO, and then, of course, the benefits of ISO. Next slide. So first is the introductions about the quality management. So what is this quality? So when we say quality, it is the concept of vocabulary of quality, which is elusive. It has a different people interpret the quality differently. So few can define quality in measurable terms that can be proved, operationalized, when asked what differentiate their product or services. For example, if the banker would ask, no, they could say that or their answers would be service. But for the healthcare, a worker could answer a quality healthcare. But if we will be asking the hotel employee, they might say or they might answer the customer satisfaction. While in manufacture, it will simply answer us or answer you as a quality product. So in general, quality refers to the degree of excellence or the worth of something. It could be in the product, of course, or in the services. It could be applied in any type of the products or in any services, or it could also be even applied to a people or an idea. So in philosophy, no, most of us here are IEs or in the course of IE. So in philosophy, when we say quality, it could be seen in a subjective concept wherein mostly the base is individual values or individual preferences. So it means the quality of one person could consider be a high quality, but the other person may not. So in a business side, the quality is often defined as the quality or it is the quality of the product or a services that would meet the satisfactions or it could exceed the customer's expectation. So it means there is a high quality product or a services that we could say it is reliable, it is also durable, or it could be a performance as promised by the company. But in the side of manufacturing, a quality is often measured using a specific metrics or it could be a specific standards. So these metrics could be or these standards could be like a defect rates or it could be a production rate or production yield or it could be the customer satisfaction. So meaning to say when we say quality, there is a principles here or there is a book says that a quality is equal to customer satisfaction which is equals to fitness for use plus the conformance to specification plus a reliable performance plus the value of the money. Okay, next slide. Okay, so let's go on now with ko lang to, hindi ko makita yung sa PowerPoint. Okay, the quality management system. So it is about the collections of the policies, the procedures, the plans, resources, the processes, the practices, and even the specifications of responsibilities and authority of an organization that would design to achieve a product or a service quality levels of the customer satisfactions and the company objective. So there are primary purpose of a quality management system. So one is standardizing process. So what this standardizing process means to QMS. So it is usually a clear and consistent procedures for all key activities, ensuring that there is there is employees work towards the same goals using the same methods or the procedures, which is mainly the objective is to reduce errors or inconsistency or even rework that would lead to improved quality. The second purpose also of this QMS is focusing on customer satisfaction. So usually in QMS, it encourages organizations to actively identify and also to understand the customer's needs that would also translate them into a concrete quality requirements. By means of this, they could be able to ensure that the product or the services could design and also to deliver to meet the customer's need, no, leading to increase the customer satisfactions and of course the loyalty. Then the other purpose, the third one is promoting continuous improvement. So usually it includes a mechanism for the company to monitor or to make sure the performance. They have to, of course, identify the areas for improvement and then implementing what is this corrective actions. So usually there is a continuous loop, no, that would ensure that the QMS remains effective, and they could be able to adapt the changing needs, as well as leading to ongoing quality improvement. So there are a lot of course, benefits when it comes to QMS. So of course, they could improve the product and services, the quality of the product or services. They could increase satisfactions to customer satisfactions. Of course, they could reduce costs. They could improve efficiency. They could also increase the employees' morale, and as well as, of course, to enhance the compliance when it comes to regulations, or when it comes to standards. Next slide. Okay, so this one is, there are 7 quality management principles. The first one is the customer focus. So this principle emphasizes the importance of the listening to customers, and as well as gathering feedback and continuously improving the products and services based on their requirements. So usually it is all about understanding the customers' needs, no, and as well as anticipating their needs and proactively exceeding what do customers expect. So it is not just about selling the products or services, but it's more on building a long-lasting relationship with our customers. The second one is leadership. So leaders set the directions, they allocate, of course, the resources. They also provide support for implementing and maintaining the QMS. So it goes beyond simply having a quality manager. This is not about having a quality manager, but it's all about creating a culture where everyone is committed to quality and to have a continuous improvement. So an example for this could be to hold a regular meeting, no, to discuss the quality objectives as well as the progress. And then management could also conduct an audits and provide a feedback to teams. Employees also could recognize their contributions for quality management. Another examples could also be allocating necessary resources, including, for example, the personnel, or it could be a training, or it could be equipment, any support that would any resources that would support to QMS. Then the third one is engagement of people. So this principles emphasizes the mapping out, controlling, and continually improving key processes for a streaming operations and delivered consistent results. So this one is all about it's all about people in all levels within the organizations that are valuable assets for achieving quality. So usually in the organization, it signifies the active participations, the involvement, and usually the ownership of each individual in all levels within the organization in achieving quality objectives. The fourth one is the process approach. This principles emphasizing mapping out, or this is about mapping out or continually improving key processes to streamline the operations and deliver consistent results. So this is about focusing on the process, not necessarily on the department. No, meaning to say, instead of focusing on individual departments or functions, you are into focusing of the organization's analysis and the manages its activities as a series, no, as a series of interrelated processes. So processes that are usually continuously monitored, and as well as measured and analyze the improvement opportunities. So an example for this could be order processing, for example, in the company, from the receiving to a customer's order to deliver of the product. Another also examples could be a product design and development, from the concept of the product or from the concept of a new product to a final production. Then the fifth one is about improvement. So this principle refers to encourages organization to actively seek opportunities to encourage their QMS products and services through internal analysis feedback. So usually it refers to ongoing process of identifying, analyzing, implementing, and as well as evaluating the changes that would enhance the effectiveness and efficiency of the quality management system. So there is usually a continuous cycle. It is not about one-time event, no. It is usually ensuring that the QMS would adopt the changing needs or the changing environment that maintains its importance or its relevance. Next slide, please. Okay, the sixth one is the evidence-based decision making. So this is a principle that emphasizes the importance of collecting and analyzing relevant information to guide improvement efforts and evaluate the performance. So instead of intuition or instead of guesswork or personal opinions, it's about using objective information to identify the problems. This is usually I teach my students that we should avoiding this guessing or a guesswork or intuition, but we usually focus on the objective informations that would really identify what is the problem or what is the issues, and also to evaluate the potential solutions, and then we will be able to track what is the impact of the changes that we want to implement. And of course, we want to see the impact also, or what is the benefits, no, of what we implement in the company. So usually we collect data, we collect relevant data, no, and then of course we analyze. It's like also doing a research. We gather data and then we collect, no, and then we analyze, and then after that we evaluate, no, what are those opinions that or the solutions based on the evidences that we've seen. And then of course after that we will have options to choose, and then we will make a final recommendations. Then before after the implementations, we will be able to track and then make sure what is the impact of these changes. So we usually utilize the data to have inform what would be our decision in the future. Okay, then the last one is the relationship management. So this is the principles that will encourage the establishing mutually beneficial partnership to promote collaborations, communications, as well as the shared responsibility for quality throughout the supply chain. So it refers to usually a proactive and strategic efforts that would taken to build as well as to maintain a positive, a mutually beneficial relationship with all the parties. No, not only with of course with the customers, but as well as our suppliers, for us to maintain and to know the impact of the quality performance. So usually it includes the internal stakeholders, of course, our employees, our managers or executives, and then included, of course, the external stakeholders like our customers, the suppliers, the regulators, of course, other partners. So next slide. So now we will go now we will go with the ISO 9001 series of series of 2015. So it is the internationally recognized standards for quality management system, or the QMS, what we discussed a while ago. So it provides a set of guidelines and requirements that organizations could follow to demonstrate their ability to consistently deliver the products and services that would meet customers' needs and regulatory requirements. So usually the ISO 9001 series of 2015 is the most widely recognized international standard for quality management system, or what we call the QMS. So it usually provides us a framework, or it provides a framework for organizations. For it is not only for the big organizations, but in all sizes of organizations and industries, to create and implement the QMS that would help them to have consistently delivered products and services that would meet the customer satisfactions or expectations. So it is internationally recognized guide for building and maintaining a quality management system that would help us deliver a excellent products and services every time. So organizations could undergo an audit, and then of course by accredited certification body to assess their QMS against the requirements of the standard. So if the audit is successful, then the organization will receive the certifications of registration, which is valid for 3 years. So maintaining a certifications requires of course ongoing audits and then continuous improvement efforts. Next slide. So probably you will ask or you will think of what is the difference between this ISO 9000 to ISO lipat ko lang, di ko kasi makita. ISO 9000 and ISO 9001. So an ISO 9000 is usually in the family of standards. So when we say family of standards, this is not about a single standard only, but it is a collection of documents that would provide a general guidance and a definitions of all quality management standard within the ISO 9000 family. But for the ISO 9001, there is a specific standard. So this is a distinct standard within the ISO 9000 family with defined requirements for implementing QMS. So that's the difference. The second one is that in ISO 9000, it is non-certifiable. So the organizations cannot achieve certifications to ISO 9000 itself. But in 9001, it is certifiable. So the organizations could undergo audits, and as well as they could achieve or receive the certifications by accredited bodies of their QMS, that of course they could meet the requirements of this ISO 9001. Another one, for ISO 9000, there is a broader scope that offers a general principles, a concept that is applicable to any organization regardless of the size or industry. So usually it serves as a foundation for understanding and implementing QMS. But then in ISO 9001, it is a focus scope, meaning to say it provides a concrete specifications, a concrete guidelines for the organizations that seeking to establish and maintain a certified QMS that satisfy the customers and as well as the regulatory requirements. So these are the three differences between the ISO. So the analogy that I could siguro give to you between the difference of this is that when we think of an ISO 9000, I just think of a cookbook, no? A cookbook meaning to say they just offering a various recipes and a cooking techniques. But in ISO 9001, I will see, or I will just compare it to giving a specific recipe in the cookbook, wherein there is an exact or there is a precise instructions, there is a precise ingredients to follow for a particular dish. So in summary, ISO 9000 would guide you on the why and the what of quality management. But in ISO 9001, it would shows you or it will give you of the how the implement to implement a certifiable QMS. So that's the difference between the key difference between the two. Next slide. So we will go on now with the quality system document. Are you still there? Baka tinutulugan niyo na ako, ha? Sige.
We are
So,
actively listening here.
okay,
Yes, yes.
sige. So this is the quality system. So this is just a summary. Okay. Paki-click lang, sir. Okay, yan. Quality plan. Next slide. Next, click ulit. Yan, para mabuo na siya. Okay, quality plan, from quality plan to quality manual to quality procedures, work instructions, record, and the supporting documents. So I will discuss briefly one by one, no? So quality plan is usually a format document that would outline the essential steps and procedures of an organization that will take to achieve its quality objective. So usually it is essential that will serve the organizations a roadmap for delivering a high quality products or a services that are consistently will meet the customer's needs and expectations. While the quality manual, it would also serve a roadmap, but this one is the entire quality system that would outline the structure, the scope, and the key processes. So usually it provides a central references or a reference point for the employees and even the external stakeholders. While when we say quality procedures, these are the documents that detail the specific steps and the methods to be followed by performing key activities within your quality system. So usually it offers a clear instructions for employees to ensure a consistent execution. While the working instructions, or what we call as work I, these are more very detailed breakdowns of the specific tasks or specific processes or procedures, providing a step-by-step guidance for a specific actions to employee. Then records is usually the documents that would give an evidence for a quality related activities. So for example, it could be inspection results, it could be non-conformance reports, corrective actions plans that usually it will give us an informations or demonstrate a compliance with the requirements and support into continual improvement efforts. And the last one is the supporting documents. So usually it is additional documents like, for example, the process flow chart, the training records, the let's say an example also is calibrations records that would also includes as part of the quality system documents. Okay, so next slide. So this one is about effective practices for quality documentation. So aside of knowing what are those necessary documents, of course, it is really very important of how the first one is to keep it concise and clear. So we have to use a simple language for us to avoid technicality, or we will avoid a technical jargon, and also to ensure that there is accessibility for our employees. The second one is we focus on practical application. So we have to tailor the documentations to your specific processes and needs, no, or the procedures for us to avoid a generic templates. And then number three, we have to maintain version control. So meaning to say we have the clear track and we have to update our documents to ensure that there is, of course, the latest or the current versions that are readily available. Then number four, we have to make it readily accessible. So we have to store all those documents, no, in a central locations. Usually there is a master list for QA department or quality assurance department. And then of course, we will be able to ensure an easy access for relevant personnel. That's the reason why for every department or every sections, there is also a copy of this documentations. The number five, review and update regularly. So of course, we have to regularly assess the effectiveness of your documentations. We have to update the needs for us to reflect any changes. So changes, for example, in the process or any changes in the requirements of the QMS. Next slide. Okay, so the importance of quality system documentations. Of course, number one, to ensure consistency. So if we will have a clear and very detailed documentation, so it would, of course, promote consistent executions of the processes. No, we would minimize the errors and we will maintain, of course, the product or the service quality. Then the second one is to improve efficiency. So we could be able, of course, to define the procedures, the instructions. We will be able to streamline those operations. And of course, we could be able to save time and resources. The number three, facilitates training. So documentations, of course, is very important in terms of it could aid and of course in effective training for employees on the quality expectations and procedures, especially if you are undergoing a training for internal auditing. Then of course, number five is to support compliance. So of course, documented procedures would facilitate compliance. It's very important with regulatory and of course customers' requirements. No, it could also reduce the risks and the potential penalties. Of course, in compliance with the standards. And then number six, it could enable continual improvement. So effective documentations, of course, definitely it would allows us to have an easier identifications of the areas for improvement, as well as supports the continual refinement of the quality system. Okay, next slide. So additional considerations, no? I just added this one. So retentions, of course, these are the records that should be retained for a period specified by the organizations or are required by regulation. So usually organizations could use a variety of methods for a retention, no, or retention records. No, um it could be a paper-based filing system. Pwede rin naman na it could also be electronic document management system. Pwede rin na cloud storage, no? And then number two is protection. So records should be protected from damage, or it could be from loss or unauthorized access. So we could store the records to secure the locations within a limited access, no, such as a lock cabinet, or it could be a data center. And then, of course, number three, accessibility. Records should be readily retrieved when needed. So we have to, usually there is a category, no? It is usually categorized based on sensitivity. It could also be based on the purpose. So we define the roles and responsibility, no? Usually we assign access levels, no, for us to, like for example, on a job functions or a need. So for them to have a control and allow, of course, the access to a specific section, or it could be a specific field or a department. And then, of course, the last one is a disposal. So this is usually a record should be disposed for securely when they are no longer required. So there are a lot of disposal method. It could be shred, it could be landfill disposal, it could be pulping. So there are a lot, no? Pwede rin naman, it could be into electronic records, no? It could be overwriting, it could be the identifications. So there are a lot, no? For as long as you follow what is the procedures in terms of the disposal of the records. Next slide. Okay, next now is the key aspect of a good continuous improvement mechanism. Number one is a data-driven decision making. So usually we use data to identify the areas for improvement, and then also we have to measure and then the effectiveness of the changes that we made. Then a culture of feedback. So meaning to say we have to encourage the feedback from all levels of our organization. So it could be, of course, both not only within the organizations, internal, but as well as external also. And then, of course, number three is small incremental improvement. So meaning to say, we will focus on making a small, but it could also be manageable changes that can be easily implemented and evaluated. Then number four, regular testing and iterations, meaning to say we have to be willing, no, or willing to test, or willing to try new ideas and make changes based on the results. And then of course, number five, empowerment of employees. So we give our employees the authority to make decisions and also to implement some changes. So next slide, we will go on now with some tools and techniques. So I just choose some of the tools, no, like for example, the PDCA or the Plan Do Check Act. So this is usually a structured approach to implement the changes. The 5 whys, this is a technique for getting the root causes of the problem. Of course, the Kaizen is a Japanese philosophy for continuous improvement, focusing on making a small or a big increment or incremental changes. And then, of course, the Six Sigma, this is a methodology for reducing defects and improving quality. So, of course, aside from this, there are a lot of tools and techniques that we could be able to use. There is a quality control tools, there is the QFD, there is the FMEA, and a lot more that could be used for the company. Next slide. Okay, so the common areas where continuous improvement can be applied. So number one is process improvement. This could involve streamlining processes to make them more efficient or more effective. Product or service improvement. This could involve making changes to your product or services to make it more appealing to customers. And then employees' performance. This is usually it involves training, no? It involves, it could also be seminars that would develop opportunities to help employees improve their knowledge or to improve their skills. And the last one is customer satisfaction. So this is usually collecting feedbacks from the customers and making some changes to improve their experiences. Okay, next slide. So this one is, I hope you can still see this structure. Okay, so medyo mahaba ang explanation nito, no? But I would try to shorten it, no? Para medyo matapos din tayo. Hindi tayo abutin ng morning dito. So, this is the structures of ISO 9001:2015. So, usually the structure of the ISO 9001:2015, series of 2015 is divided into 10 clauses. So, it could also categorized into three main sections. So what are those three main sections? One is the context and the leadership. This is usually clauses 4 to 5. Then the planning and support, that's the second one. This is the clauses 6 to 7. And then the operations and improvement, which is, it includes the clauses 8 to 10. So yung clauses 0 to 3 is not necessarily mandatory for the implementations, but it provides a helpful informations about the standards, about the purpose, the scope, and the terms. And then the clause 8 is some exemptions of the organizations that could demonstrate the specific processes that are not applicable. So these structures would emphasize the processes-based approach and the plan, do, check, act, the PDCA cycle for continuous improvement. So next slide. So this one is the breakdown of the 10 clauses of the ISO 9001 series of 2015. So there is additional details about each clause. So, excuse me, the clause 0 or the introduction, usually these are the clause provides the overview of the standard and its structure. So usually it provides a general understanding of the standards, no? As I've said, the purpose, the structures, the key concept. Then the clause 1 is usually the scope. So it defines the applicability of the standard to various organizations. So usually it defines the scope of the standard, stating the applicability of the various organizations seeking to implement a quality management system. While the clause 2 is that normative references, so usually it includes the list other standards and documents that are referenced in the text. So meaning to say, it is the list of the standards and documents that are references, of course, within the context of the ISO 9001 series of 2015. And the clause 3 is the term and definition. So it usually clarifies the key terms, the definitions that will be used throughout the standard to ensure that there is a consistent understanding. And then next slide. So the context of the organization, the clause 4. So usually it understands the internal and external factors that influence its ability to achieve the desired outcomes. It also considers the needs and the expectations of the interested parties, such as the customers, the employees, and the regulators. And then it also determines the scope and the quality of the management system, or the QMS. So usually in clause 4, it understands the organizations and its context. It also understands the needs and expectations of the interested parties. It also determines the scope and the quality management system, and also its processes. Then the leadership, or in the clause 5, It provides the leadership and commitment to quality in all levels of the organization. It also establishes the quality policies, the set of directions of the QMS, and would also create a culture of quality throughout the organization. So it defines the policy, the leadership, and the commitment, and as well as the organization's roles, the responsibilities, and the authorities. So next slide. So the planning, so this is the under the clause 6. It identifies the risks and opportunities that could affect the ability to achieve its quality objective. It also sets quality objectives that are aligned with the strategic goals and also to develop plans to achieve its quality objective. So usually it identifies it would set the quality, or they have to develop the plans to achieve the quality objectives of the ISO 9001. So it usually the actions, it refers to actions to address what are the risks and the opportunities, no, for planning. It also refers to the quality objectives and the planning to achieve them. So for the whole, of course, for the whole organizations, for the company. And then the clause 7, it provides the resources necessary to operate and maintain the QMS. It also ensures that the personnel are competent to perform their assigned tasks. They raises awareness of the QMS throughout the organizations and manages documented informations effectively. So this is mostly requirements with regards to resources, with regards to awareness, with regards to competence, communications, and as well as the documented informations. And then for the operations that is under the clause 8, so ito yung mga mini-mention ko nandun sa structure, no? Bini-breakdown ko lang for each of it. And then I have just a brief definitions for it. So this is usually under the plans and controls of the process to ensure that they delivered a desired output. So it also implement controls to prevent non-conformities and address them when they occur, and then provides training and support to personnel to ensure that they can perform their tasks effectively. So this clause is usually the requirements is the operational planning and control, requirements for product and services, the design and development of the product and services. Another also is the control and external provided processes, the products and services, productions and service provisions, that's the requirement, and then the release of the product and services, and the control of non-conforming output. So usually that is the requirements. For the clause 9, that is performance evaluation, these are usually to measure, to monitor the performance against its quality objective, as well as to analyze the data to identify the areas for improvement, and to conduct also internal audits to assess the effectiveness of the QMS. So in this clause, usually the requirements is monitoring and analysis and the evaluations, and also they have to comply with the internal audit and also management review. Then for the improvement, that's clause 10. This is usually continually improves in QMS and performance through non-conformity and corrective actions, continual improvement initiatives, and innovation. So usually the requirements for this clause is that the non-conformity and corrective action, and then also continual improvement, no, initiatives and innovations. Then next slide. So I think I end up with the breakdown of the structures of ISO. Okay, this one is I will include some, no, but medyo fast track ko na lang, no. So for clause 4, these are the required documents. So one is the context of the organization's analysis, interested parties analysis, the scope of the QMS statement. And then for the leadership, the documents that are usually required is the quality policy, organizational roles, responsibilities, and authorities matrix. Then next slide. For planning, usually the documents that are required is the risk and opportunity assessment. So usually they have this risk management plan, then quality objectives and quality plans. Then for clause 7, the documents usually are the resource allocations plans, the training records, the communications records, and then the document control procedures. Then for class 8, the operation. So usually the documents that are required is the operational planning and control procedures, product and service requirements specifications, design and development control procedures, supplier control procedures, productions and service provision procedures, and then the release of the product and service procedures and the non-conforming output control procedures. Okay, next slide. Okay, for the records, this is also under clause 8. So customers' requirements, design and development review, suppliers' evaluation, productions and service provision records, inspection and test records, and then the non-conforming product and service records. Okay, next slide. Okay, for class 9, the performance evaluation, usually the documents and the records that needed is monitoring and measurement procedures, internal audit procedures, management review procedures. So these are just the requirements needed under different class. And then for the records, the company needs monitoring and measurement results, internal audit reports, and then management review minutes. And then for class 10, that's the improvement. Usually the documents that they need or the required is corrective action procedures, continual improvement procedures. Records needed is non-conformity reports, corrective action reports, and then continual improvement records. Next slide. Okay, this time is the steps involved. No, medyo mahaba din po ito, but I will shorten it. The first one is to understand the requirements of ISO 9001:2015. So of course, this is the first step. The organization should familiarize with the requirements of the standards, those that I mentioned a while ago with the different clause, now with each clause, the documents and the records needed. Then by this, you could now be able to purchasing a copy of the standards, no, or they could attend a training course. They have the standard that could, of course, divided into the 10 classes that I mentioned. So which covers everything from the context to the organizations to continual improvement. Then number 2, conduct a gap analysis. When we say conduct a gap analysis, once we understand the requirements, then we need to conduct a analysis or a gap analysis to identify any areas where our organizations is not compliant. No, this can be done, of course, by comparing your existing quality management system to the requirements of the standard. Then number 3, develop a plan to close the gap. So meaning to say, once you have identified the gaps, then you need to develop, of course, a plan to close them or to solve it. And then the plan should also be included the actions that you will take, then the resources that you need, no, and then of course you have to have the timeline implementations. Then number 4 is to implement the plan. So once you have the plan, you need, of course, to you need to start implementing it, no. It may involve, of course, the changes to the process or the procedures, and then the documentations, and then next is the training. Then number 5, monitor and measure your progress. Then of course, after you implement your plan, you need to monitor and then measure your progress. No, this will help the company to identify the areas where you need for some adjustment. And then number 6 is to conduct internal audit. So internal audits is a way for the company to assess effectiveness of the quality management system. They must conducted regularly to ensure that their system is working as intended, no, based on the standards. And then number 7, seek the certifications. Once you are confident, no, the company is confident with the quality management system that you already complied. So then you could now seek for or apply for the ISO 9001 series of 2015. You could seek for the certifications for accredited certification body. And then number 8, continually improve. So once you have the ISO certifications, then continuous improvement standard is needed. So which means you have to always look for ways to improve the quality management system. Next slide. Are you still there? Baka nawawala na kayo dyan. Sige, konti na lang to. So next one is the factors to consider when selecting an ISO 9001 series of 2015, no? So number 1 is accreditation. So we have to ensure that the body is accredited by a member of International Accreditation Forum or IAF, such as ANAB or ANAB in US or KAS in UK. So this is usually verify their adherence to international standard and best practices. Of course, the second one is that the industry expertise. So we will look for a body with experience in the specific industry or a sector. They would have a better understanding of the unique challenges and the requirements. Number 3 is the locations. We have to consider also the geographical reach of the body, especially if we will have operations in multiple countries. And then, of course, we also have to consider the cost. We have to compare the fees and the services packages that they offered by different bodies. So we have to remember that the cheapest options may not always be the best, no? Then number 5, client testimonials and reviews. We have to read, of course, the online reviews. Now, we could also ask for references from other organizations or for other companies that they use the services that they offered. Next slide. Okay, I guess this would be the last one. I hope I could still discuss how long it would be the ISO 9001 series of 2015 valid, no? How long is the ISO, how long is the, or how does the typical ISO 9001 2015 project schedule look like, no? But it would take us longer. Probably we could ask na lang, we will have na lang the second session for this kasi medyo talagang mahaba pa, no? We could also discuss general phases of the project schedule. So medyo mahaba pa po ito, and then the individual roles, no? But then I think this would be the last one, and the last two, I think. Okay, the benefits is the last one. Okay, some of the top ISO 9001 series of 2015 certification body. So the first one is the Korea Society for Quality, KSQ. So sorry ha, ito yung inuna ko kasi I'm under the consultation company, no, under ako nila. So this is a member of international organizations for standardization, ISO. So International Electronic Commissions or IEC. So it also works closely with the national standard bodies around the world. Then the other one is the Bureau Veritas. So this is a leading international certifications body with a strong presence over 140 countries. And then of course, there is a SGS. So this is a Swiss certifications body with extensive experience in various industry also. We have the TUB. This is a German certifications body known for a rigorous approach and technical expertise. And then we also have the DNV GL. So it provides a wide range of quality system services. And then Intertech. So this is a certifications body with global network of offices. So these are just some, but it doesn't mean ito lang to, no? So next slide. So I could not say which among of them is the best. No, it depends on the, of course, the budget and the needs, no, kung ano yung ano na sa atin sa company. Okay, next slide.
Sorry, ma'am, hold on.
This would be the last one. Next slide, please. Benefits. Ay, nawala na siya. Next slide. That's the benefits. I think that's the last. Ayan. Ayan natin. Move ko lang konti. Ayan. So I think this would be the last. So benefits of ISO 9001 series of 2015. Number one, of improved customer satisfactions. Of course, a happy customers would translate to loyalty once they receive the satisfactions based on the standards that complied by the company based on the ISO. It would help them understand, of course, and exceed what is the needs, what is the expectations, and beyond the expectations of the companies. The number two, it could boost or boosted efficiency. So they could say goodbye to wasted time and resources. So this standard will streamline their processes, making them more effective and less prone to errors. And then number three, it would reduce costs. So fewer mistakes mean fewer fixes. So ultimately, they could save money, and then they could, of course, have a valuable time. And then number four, enhanced decision making. So if there would be a data-driven decision, so it could be a key, and ISO 9001 could provide the tools, to gather to gather and to analyze a clear and accurate data that would make the company inform of the future decisions or choices. And then number five, of course, it is a competitive advantage, no? In today's market, in today's status of the market. So standing out is, of course, very crucial. But then if we will have the ISO 9001 certifications, definitely, I think for me, it would demonstrate the commitment of the company to a quality, giving their customers a leg up on the competitions. Okay, so points to remember for this sessions, I could say that implementing ISO 9001 isn't just about achieving a certification. So it is a continuous journey of improvement that would lead to a higher quality, of course, happier customers and more efficient organizations. So while it could be, I could say based on my experience, while I'm still into industry once a week, I could say it is really a challenging, but then it is a rewards as well, for all the effort that the company would give. So we really need to focus, the company will really need to focus on a continuous improvement. They have to embrace a culture of learning. They have to embrace the culture, or they have to adapt to involve their system, their processes, their products, of course, their personnel. Then they have to tailor also the framework to the specific needs and industry. So get buy-in from the senior management. I think that's important. They have to involve also their employees from top management down to their operators in the processes and the use of the PACE approach. No, so by understanding all the clauses and all the principles and applying these key points, I could say, it can give effectively, they could really effectively implement the ISO 9001 series of 2015 that would improve the organization's overall quality management system. Okay, so thank you so much for listening. I hope you're still there. You're still awake.
All right, I think
Nakikinig pa kayo sa akin.
thank you so much, Doc Janet.
Thank you
For
so
sure,
much.
marami na namang natutunan ng ating mga lifelong learners tonight. All right, so now we're going to proceed to our question and answer segment of Alpha TV. So if meron kayong question regarding the topic, feel free to post it sa ating chat box, or pwede rin namang you can open your microphone and yes, raise your question. Go ahead. The Alpha TV question answer segment is now open. Let me just also check our YouTube if there's any question raised. Anyone from our team Zoom? Meron ba kayong question from Doc Janet? Aba, wala.
Inaantok na daw sila. Or
We
pagod
still-
na sila kasi weekend.
Yes, we're approaching weekend na. So yeah, if you have any question, go ahead, guys. Come on. Yeah, from our chat box, yeah, thank you, Ma'am Janet. From Zara, thank you, Ma'am, for sharing another knowledge. From Kenneth, and also for Mr. Raman, thank you. Very informative presentation. Thank you and congrats. So there seems like there's no any question, but all our appreciation and yeah, thank you so much once again, Doc Janet, for your time. I know it's bukas weekend na, but you chose to be with us for to share your knowledge and expertise. Yes, Zara, the link will be posted right after some advertisement. Okay, so seems like we don't have any question from our chat room. So once again, thank you everyone for attending our another episode of Alpha TV webinar. And once again, also, Ma'am Janet, thank you so much on behalf of Alpha ASEC Speech Academy and for sharing your knowledge and expertise to our audience for tonight. Any last message from our Alpha viewers na gusto niyo pong i-share? All right, I think we have one question here from Kenneth. The question, ma'am, is, Doc, good evening. Sa isang company po ba, is need po ba talaga magkaroon ng ISO standard or is it depending po sa company?
Okay, the question is it ano yan? Isang ano yon? Hindi ko masyadong mabasa. Good evening. Sa isang company po ba, is need po talaga na ano yun? Magkaroon ng ISO standard or it depends po sa company. For me, it's not naman talaga. Well, for the beginners or yung nag-start pa lang yung company, so I don't think they could really apply immediately for a certifications of of ISO. But standards is important, no, to have. So a standard procedures, a standard methods, a standard tools, no, and then of course yung procedures that they have, and then of course ano yung standard quality that they have to measure and to monitor. I think that's the important. And then of course if they are ready, no, yung doon sa paces na sinabi ko, if they are ready with if they are knowledgeable and they already have the training, they know already the different classes and the requirements, the documents, no, and the requirements for the reports, no, and they know that they really comply, then they could apply na. And for as long as, of course, kasi medyo kailangan may budget, no? May budget talaga when you are applying for the certifications. But with regards to standard, whether you are not an ISO, whether you are an ISO or not, standards is important. Okay? Kasi it could comply with ano ba yung quality ng inyong product or services na i-offer. Kasi by means of that, you could expect na you could retain your customer and loyalty, no, ng inyong customer. Kasi di ba kanina, a while ago, sabi ko nga that quality is equals to customer satisfactions. And when we say customer satisfactions, it really fit to what they need, what they use, no? It is usually conformance to specifications. Pag sinabi nating specifications is yung ano ba yung dimensions ng product natin, baka pa iba-iba, okay? Baka ngayon ay nasa color green, nakita ko si green. Sumunod ay, which is the standard color is green, pero sumunod na na-produce nyo ay light green na. So it does not comply with what the companies set, no? And then of course, kailangan reliable yung performance ninyo. And then plus, of course, the value for money. Kasi it would affect your performance. It will affect the profit or yung revenue ng company. So, nasagot ko po ba?
All right, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Doc Janet. Another question from Team Zoom. Last one. What would you suggest if an organization, especially the employees applying for accreditation, is highly resistant to making changes?
Okay. Actually, it's not only an employee, no? Or yung isang empleyado lang or isang section lang. It must be the whole organization, and it start with the top management, no? Down to managerial, supervisory, and then down to the operator. So na-mention ko kanina, it should be in all levels of the organization. Hindi pwedeng isang tao lang o hindi pwedeng manggagaling lang siya sa top management. So it start with the top management, and then in all levels kailangan cooperative sila. They really complying also. They are really following what is the standard, and they are really the one who will implement what is the standard. Ano yung procedures natin? Ano yung kailangan nating i-comply? Ano yung kailangan nating i-submit for that time? Ano yung mga documents na kailangan nating i-update at kailangan nating i-improve? Ano yung mga processes that we really need to improve based on the not only compliance, no, but that would satisfy our customers, kasi domino effect yun eh. So kung ano yung ginagawa natin, let's say the procedures on how to process the product. So kaya nga meron tinatawag na QC, meron tinatawag na QA. So ito yung mga areas or mga departments that would look into the standards or the quality na kailangan nako-comply, nagagawa, no? So bago dumating siya sa finished product or bago lalo na dumating sa customers, they are really 100% sure that they really comply with what is the quality standards set by the company that will satisfy our customers. Yun po. Nasagot ko po ba?
And another one. Ito, last na sulitin na natin yung time ni Doc Janet.
Sige
Alright.
po.
For organizations with QMS in place and has long been certified, how do we ensure that QMS continues to add value to the organization?
Okay, there is what we call, I mentioned a while ago, there is what we call the internal auditing. So pag sinabi nating internal auditing, they usually have a regular review of their QMS. So yung review kasi tinitingnan nila ano ba yung kailangan ng baguhin, ano ba yung hindi nagko-comply, ano ba yung non-conforming, no, with this area. And may mga major non-conforming, may mga minor. So, of course, lahat yun tinitingnan, hindi lang dahil minor yon, hindi na natin, i-ignore na natin. Or hindi dahil major siya, yun yung magiging focus natin. But we have to avoid those non-conforming, whether it is a minor or a major non-conforming products, or it could be a processes, no? Or kung ano man yung nasa area na non-conformance siya. So, yun yung mga tinitingnan kasi for internal auditing. So nire-ready tayo for the next kasi after 3 years, so i-renew, magse-certified ulit. So yun yung titingnan ulit, no, pagdating sa ISO certification, kasi hanggang 3 years lang yun eh. But of course, it is not as simple as it sounds like 3 years, no? So meron pa rin siyang surveillance audits na tinatawag, no? So they have to undergo, yung na-mention ko nga sa inyo, they have usually 2 surveillance audits, no? Usually they have conducted of course the certification body na napili ng company. So usually yung audits na yun ay typically occur annually. So they confirmed that if the company would maintain the quality management system effectively. So as long as they pass, of course, these audits, no, without major non-conformities, the certifications definitely remain valid, no. So kung meron na siya, kung meron na kayong it is certified, so you have to maintain. And yung pag-maintain kasi, as I mentioned, so you really need to look on and regular internal auditing. Plus, of course, kung ano yung gap or there are some things that you need to, let's say, training man yan or another tools man lang yan, or a project, or it could be a system, it could be a revisions of the work instruction. So, depende kung ano yung nakita. So, kailangan magagawa yon, no? For them to maintain and to have these recertifications, no, at the end of the third year or the 3 years. Nasagot ko po ba?
Alrighty, thank you so much. Okay, before we say goodbye to our guest, may we request everyone to open your camera. Let's just have a very quick photo op, okay, for our documentation. Please join us, everyone. Kindly open your cameras. I'll just take a quick snap. Ayan. Good evening. Open lang po natin yung cam. Very quick lang. Anyone? Okay. All right, I'll count in 3 and then I'll just take a snap. 1, 2, 3. Smile. All right. Just the other one. 1, 2, 3. And the last one. 1, 2, 3. All right. Thank you so much. Once again, thank you. And thank you very much, Doc Janet, for your time and sharing your knowledge and expertise with Alpha TV.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
All right. And now let me just share some advertisement before I send you guys the link to our registration form for your certificates. Once again, this episode is made possible with our partners, IXL, 2us, and Startup Podcast PH. And kindly follow us on our official social media account, Aztecs PH Academy. And yeah, as mentioned earlier ni Doc Janet, no, yung itong continuous improvement tools, our companies offering those services. We have Lean Six Sigma Yellow Belt Certification Program. You can see the dates here sa left side ng inyong screens. We also have Project Management Fundamental Certification, Lean Six Sigma Green Belt Certification Program, Alpha Certified Kaizen Professional, our Certified Data Analyst, and also we have the Lean Six Sigma Black Belt Certification. Another thing, you can take advantage sa ating free courses na available sa aming website. Just visit aztecsph.com. Ayan, yun yung list ng mga free courses na pwede nyong i-take. And yes, from our website. And the promo is still ongoing. If you guys are a group of 5, you can take advantage of those courses and you can only pay for 4. So it seems like the one person is free kapag nag-join kayo as a group of 5, which is also available in installment process because now Aztecs is partnered with Bill E's program. So that's 25% down payment, and you can stretch the payment up to 12 months with a low interest rate installment every month. And our project Eskwela One is relaunch. So pag meron kayong kilala na who wants to share their expertise and knowledge, like Doc Janet earlier, you can share this link sa ng ating session, and yeah, they can join the Project Eskwela One info session. Aztec Speech Academy is also looking for partners and ambassadors. And calling the attention of our Alpha alumni, ayan, you can join our official Facebook page. So yep, we can connect over there. And ito na yung link for our registration for your certificates. Kindly scan this one. I'll be posting also here sa ating chat box. And yep, you can now register sa Google Docs natin. Reminder that kindly fill out the evaluation form because this will serve as your ticket to access your free certificate for this free webinar tonight. All right, I already posted sa ating chat box, and the link will be expire within 30 minutes, so kindly do it now. And once again, thank you so much everyone for joining another episode of Alpha TV webinar. See you again next Friday, and let's all be significantly better through accessible and lifelong learning together. Happy weekend and good night, everyone.